I am so freaking back. Maybe. Honestly, though, it feels amazing mentally. The accounts are so fun. I'm having a great time. The stream energy has been so fun. Talking about really good stuff. Trading well. Took a couple trades today. We're going to go ahead and recap those right now. All this was done in my live stream. It happens every morning at 8:30 a.m. Central Time on my main channel, Trades by Matt. Trading my 20, 50K Apex funded accounts. You can use code TBM for the best discount always. Let's go ahead and get into the conversations and the trades from today. Yo, good morning. All right, welcome. We had FOMC yesterday. I traded a little bit. It was pretty fun. Ended up making $400 yesterday. Grinded back to break even. Showed those trades in Discord. I think I got up to like $100 in Discord. I showed the trade for like $100 in Discord, and then took 2 more trades. I think 2 more little base hits on FOMC. Got to like $400 and called it. Currently at 50,757 basically across the accounts. So we are going slow mode, and that is okay. I'm okay with it right now. Couple days, couple bucks, nothing absurd. And that's kind of what I'm wanting to do right now, is just keep it mellow, cruise, take the base hits. You know what I mean? Nice dumps, huh? That's a 90-point dump off the open so far. That's a 100-point dump off the open so far. With liquidity lower through 600. Is this a gap up? Oh, we had earnings yesterday, right? 23,844, new all-time high. That's crazy. I didn't even realize where we were at. My goodness, we were up here. Got point of control here at 65. News on the day. Microsoft jumps 8.2 to surpass $4 trillion in market value. So what happens after a trillion? We're going to have a quadrillion-dollar company here sooner than later, I guess. It's crazy. We had jobless claims at 7:30. We've got Chicago PMI at 8:45. And allegedly tariffs are starting, I guess. Apple and Amazon earnings after the bell. If it's a boring morning, wait till earnings this afternoon. I mean, so far, not boring. So far, 100-point dump. Okay, 150 block just got yoinked, I guess. Long time since we've had an opening like this. Yeah, it kind of does feel like a long time since we've had a little bit of an exciting opening. All right, let's look at Delta. I can tell you right now, chat, I'm pretty happy with this type of open to be trading 1 contract right now in the 50Ks. A lot less stressful than 3 contracts. It's actually hilarious, like seeing these numbers. It just feels like it almost feels like I'm trading micros after trading 3 contracts for so many months. It feels very less stressful. I don't really know what to say there other than less stressful. All right. We do have yesterday's close down at 480. Yesterday's value area high at 580. Currently sitting at 660, 666. Right around the overnight lows as well. Point of control here at 670. More downside move. We're watching for yesterday's value area high 580s. If it's gonna stay heavy. We got VWAP up at 572, 752, 752, which is also the current high of day. So similar to yesterday or the day before, we had like a nice flush into lows, the low of day, which was also where VWAP was. And I was like, I'm not taking the VWAP long here because we're going down into VWAP, which is right next to the low of day. So usually we clear that out. Same thing applies here, just reverse. If for some reason we get a 100-point push, I will not be looking at a short really because it's right near the high of day, and I imagine that we push through it. It's a very big hypothetical, just throwing it out there. Everything looks heavy. I mean, we got liquidity lower through 600. We'll see what happens. All right, retesting the overnight lows here. The question is V-bottom into VWAP or rotate 80s? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just saying that's the question. We do have a little doji here. I'm going to look at the prior open. Don't know if I'm going to get the fill or not. We got some sellers. Looking at the prior open. Top of the doji. Could be a 50% retrace also. Somewhere around there. All right, I am filled short. And I'm out. There's a 10-pointer. Quick, easy. Felt nice, felt good. That's all I want right there. That's a base hit. This type of movement is so typically good for my style of trading. This is like ideal movement for my style of trading. It's not, someone like left a comment about like, bro looks for the smallest trades ever, yet he hates ranges. It's true. I don't really enjoy range days. I still like big, crazy move like this to a degree. The Trump stuff at the beginning of the year was a little too aggressive. It was like 800-point moves. But I still enjoy good volatility that I can go get my little piece out of the pie on. This is pretty ideal to me. Just because I'm looking for smaller moves of 10 points doesn't mean I'm looking for a range that's 20 points big or 10 points big. Like, I still like, I'm just like everybody else. I still like volatility. So we had a nice move to the upside, right? We had a doji. So from a candle structure perspective, a doji is usually a sign of indecision. Meaning we had like strong close, green candle, straw, decently smaller, but still decent close, strong green candle, right? Then we have a doji, and this just shows like, okay, the buyers are not positive that it's going up, right? Because sellers kind of owned it. But the buyers still are trying a little bit. And so it's this indecision, right? Indecision usually leads to a rollover in some capacity. We're also right at the overnight lows. So we were kind of starting to reject the overnight lows. It's also the magical 80s. And then we also had Delta. We had Delta kind of getting slapped off here. And then on the push back up, we didn't really have a whole bunch of market buyers, right? We didn't really have that many market buyers. I shorted the overnight lows, which also happened to be the prior open. Sometimes I'll do this at the 50% of the wick. But this one, I was like, I want to get filled on this because I feel pretty good about it. So I put it at the prior open of this 5-minute, like the open of the 5-minute doji. Magical 80s, which is usually a decent spot for some consolidation, if not rollover. And then looking for a base hit. So we had weak delta. We had the overnight low rejection after a quick sweep. And sticking to the base hits and got filled out. That is the trade. But it all started with me visually seeing, okay, we have a nice move up. We have a doji here. A doji after a nice move up typically is usually provides some form of a little flush. Wasn't much on this one, but worth noting. And that's what at least registered my eye to then be like, okay, we're also at the overnight lows. Let me check a delta. Delta's having a hard time. Okay, this could short, right? That's where I was at. I'm curious as well because we're obviously bullish. Well, and again, that statement is like, that's a very like one time frame statement. Obviously bullish. It's like, okay, if you're looking at very short term, yes, it was a bullish pump, but like the 5-minute rolling over at the overnight lows to then make new lows makes total sense. Like we have not broken a new high. Like we are technically not pumping as far as the regular trading hour session goes. Just different way. It's all different ways to interpret what's happening, right? We're all interpreting price over time. We're just doing it at different time intervals. Does Apex give you PA accounts? No. They do not. I have to pass them myself. I'm not giving evaluations either. I got to pay for them. Personally. They have occasionally given me evaluations to give away. Which I've done a few times on the stream. You deserve free ones? Nah, I don't think so, honestly. I think I deserve to have to go through the effort. Similar to my payout got denied, right? Like my payout on the 300Ks got denied. So I'm Just in it like everybody else, basically. I was pretty tilted off that, to be honest, not gonna lie. But we're coming back with the 50s. I'm gonna keep my head down on these 50s. That's all I'm saying. Any advice for someone still struggling with trading and how to get a different approach in the prop firm? A very open-ended question. Hard to answer, to be honest, because I don't know what you're struggling with. If you're struggling with like giving money back, the answer is like stop over trading, like suck it up and physically stop over trading. It's a discipline issue. If you're struggling with ever getting green ever, like, okay, let's work around, like, is it just summer action or is it like a core strategy problem? If you're having green days and you just can't get a payout in a prop, be more patient potentially is the answer, right? If you're getting close to payouts and then you blow your account, it's like, okay, I got to put in some hard limits here because obviously the mental is starting to get to you. I don't know. There's too many options, but there's a couple of things I would throw out there to be cognizant of. If it is not a core trading strategy problem, meaning it worked before the summertime is different conditions, wait and see how it reacts after summer, and then decide if you need to be completely changing your game or not. If it is not that, then 9 times out of 10, maybe even higher, maybe even 90% of the time or 95% of the time or something like that, it is a mental problem or a discipline problem. Like, you know what you should be doing, you're just choosing to ignore it. And saying that in a nice way, because we all struggle with that. I know what I should be doing, but I sometimes literally and sometimes unliterally choose to not do it, right? Sometimes it's a choice, sometimes it just happens, but it's a discipline problem. Why is overtrading even a thing? If you develop strong mentality and follow your rules, then you can trade as long as you want, right? Okay, yes. Here's the other flip side, right? Let's go to paint. 2 things. I'll say 2 things. 1, you have the human approach, right? Which is you get tired, you get mentally exhausted. You are on your game all day long, and guess what? With trading, it just takes 10 minutes or less of bad decisions for things to go south, right? Now, say you're not human, you're a freaking animal or a bot, you're a market maker, you're something, I don't know. And you are still trading all day. You still face this problem of, okay, so you have expectancy, right? Or EV, whatever you want to call it, EV or expectancy from a dollar's perspective. Expectancy dollars. I don't know how to spell expectancy, so there you go. You have EV or you have your expectancy, right? This plus your, well, expected value is really including your win rate, but you could say profit factor with win rate, maybe. Anyways, all that to say, you have your expected value or you have your win rate, whatever you want to look at. At the end of the day, this is an equity curve, right? That's an equity curve. At the big picture, this is a great looking equity curve. You might have had one little trough here, right? But overall, from baseline to where you're at right now, you've made a lot of money. This can be over any time frame. The problem is that you never know when this will happen. And it is inevitable, right? There will be times of pain, struggle, and whatever else. Ideally, this is not when you are first starting out a brand new account, right? Ideally, it's after you already have some buffer built in or whatever. It's always the most fun when you're starting an account, like a brand new account, when it's like this. It's just straight up, and then you have like some pain or whatever, and then it's like you're back in it, right? Seasons of really good, seasons of really bad. It is what it is. Now, to answer your original question, right? If I'm really good mentally and my trade stuff is really good, why not trade all day? Because you never know when this is going to happen. At the end of the day, no one has a 100% win rate, right? And even a 100% win rate, those losses can be stacked. Or even, so like on a win rate, even if you had a 90% win rate, if you have 10% losers, right? Those 10% losers could be stacked for a very long time, even beyond, if you've taken 100 trades, You could technically have more than 10 losers in a row and still have a 90% win rate because that sample size continues to grow, right? But those losers in a row is what could actually screw you, right? So say you had 90 trades in a row that won, or whatever, X amount of trades that won, right? You're at a 90% win rate. All of a sudden you lose like 30 trades or something. That could be enough to screw you big time, even if you win the next 50 to 60 trades in a row. But you never got to that 50 or 60 spot because you lost 30 in a row, right? And your win rate was still high. So my point in saying that is that, like, when you're starting a brand new account, or if you're trading all day long, you never know technically when you're gonna lose it and have these moments of what I would call normalcy. It is normal to lose trades. It is normal to not have an equity curve that goes straight up. It's normal to have a flowing, wavy equity curve, right? And you never know when this part is going to happen, just like you never know when this part is going to happen. Humans like to assume that this will always be the case because math, stats, whatever. But like at the end of the day, even with a like solid expected value or solid expectancy, whatever you want to call it, like there's times where the trough is troughing, right? And you never know when that's going to happen. Therefore, less exposure to the market is typically a good thing. Blanket statement. Obviously, you can trade as much as you want, however much you want, whenever you want. That's all up to you. But there comes a point where mental fatigue is a real thing. There comes a point where less exposure is a good thing, because the inevitable will happen at some point, which is you will not be firing on all cylinders. As long as risk to reward is positive, you'll win over time. Over time, yes. The problem is that you have to be able to last over time, right? And that's exactly what I was just saying. Over time is a very hypothetical thing. If I had one day where I got hosed and I lost a ton of trades, even if I had a positive RR, right? If I had a positive RR and I still lost 30 trades in a row because I was trading all day long, and I have a positive RR, it's going to hit at some point, and I lost 30 trades in a row, I could still lose my account. Even if you extrapolate that out, and those 30 days were the only losing days that I had for 3 months. And in 3 months, you know, of course I would have ended up making more money. But I couldn't survive for that because it all happened in one day, which is technically like possible. It is possible for that to happen. And a lot of people don't think that way because they just think, oh, 2-to-1 RR. I can lose X amount of trades. And it's like, well, yeah, you can. Is the odds of you losing every trade that you can lose in a row likely? The answer is probably not, but at the end of the day, it can happen. So it's math, man. And it's something that a lot of people don't think about because a lot of people are just like what I said. Oh, I have an 80% win rate. I have a 60% win rate with a 2 profit to 1 loss RR ratio. I'll be okay. And it's like, yes, the gurus did tell you that. A little doji here at the bottom again. It's like, yes, the gurus did tell you that. And yes, the math technically could check out that way. Worth looking at your expectancy at that point, your profit factor, right? But like, it is on the table for you to lose 40% of those 40% losses. It's on the table for you to lose them all back to back to back to back to back for a long time. And then you win a bunch of trades for forever, right? At the end of the day, it's still 60-40. Just a massive sample size. It's still 60-40. It's just very front end heavy or very back end heavy. And it's enough to screw you. Rant of the day. Yeah, I hope that wasn't even a rant. That wasn't very ranty. That was like, or I wasn't really trying to be ranty, honestly. Sometimes the rants are trying to be ranty. That was just like, I think people forget about it or don't even realize that it's possible. And it's like, it's very possible. It's very possible to have a profitable trading strategy and go through a season of pain right when you open an account. That happens to a lot of people. You go through an evaluation, you're crushing, right? And this gets chalked up as psychology sometimes, or the mental side of moving to a funded account. But sometimes it's just straight up what I described. People spend 3 weeks going through an evaluation. They get through it after really solid trading, great looking equity curve, little troughs and stuff. They start their new funded account and it's like loss, because unfortunately they started it on the trough of their equity curve. Like if you were to take both accounts out and just make it into one big equity curve, right? Their evaluation was this period. They started it as it was curling over, and their funded account is now started while it's in the drawdown period, right? That's a bummer. There's people that start a valuation in like a drawdown period where then they rally out of it, and then they get into their funded account while they're still on that upward trajectory where they feel like they can't lose. And then, you know, they're vibing. It's a real thing. And a lot of people are like, oh, the mental's not there. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but it also could just be part of your trading variance. I think variance is the right word there. I don't really know, but I think variance is the right word. But just, you know, it's part of your trading, like the way that your stats are broken down. Like an equity curve shouldn't necessarily be thought about as one specific account, right? It's one specific prop firm account. It should probably be thought about as, you know, several of them. And then you start drawing it out and seeing the peaks and troughs of it. Probably pretty interesting. What would you say the reason most traders fail in one sentence? They are not patient. Period. It applies to the life of the trader. Not being patient, the fact that it takes time to learn how to trade. They want to be profitable now. So it applies there, as opposed to like putting in the work, grinding it out, getting better slowly over time, adapting, growing, making it happen. It takes time. They're not patient intraday. They're like, they want to be in trades now. We see it all the time. Why isn't Matt in a trade? Well, I haven't seen anything worth taking. They don't understand that, right? Like, you got to be patient. I think it's the number one thing for traders. And we got the Thoughtful Thursdays going on here for real. Good conversations, good questions. GG's chat. I enjoy talking about this type of stuff. I think it's important. And I think it's something that a lot of newer people don't necessarily think about. Like the equity curve stuff, people aren't necessarily thinking about. Or the fact that like a win rate is bigger than 10 trades or bigger than 100 trades. A lot of people don't think about that. My win rate is 80% on 20 trades, Matt. I'm a freaking thug. I'm good. I don't need any help. And it's like, all right, let's see what happens when it's out of 100 trades or out of 1,000 trades. Let's see how your win rate changes. See how that equity curve changes, right? All righty, trying to leg down maybe? We got IBL in 9 minutes, chat. I mean, everything I just was talking about applies to me too. Literally everything I just like drew in paint, like this whole situation, right? That all applies to me too, man. Summer, hello. You know, I mean, it's everything. Yeah, it all applies to me too. Just as much of a battle for me as it is for y'all. I will say it's a lot easier for me. Probably a lot easier for me than it is for a lot of y'all because I have been doing this for lots of years now. All right, like lots of years. I've traded lots of summers. It's very annoying that I lose on summers, but like I've also experienced coming out of summers, and I've done it enough times now to know that like it just is what it is. It's a peak, like a little period of drawdown usually in the summer, and then it comes out and it's fun again. And so like I have that side of the history to help me out. Like I have the annoying side of summer sucks, but I have the flip side of fall and winter is actually in Q1 is really fun. So I have that in the back of my head that makes this easier as we progress through summer, and it makes it a little lighter for me also. You know what it is about summer that makes things more difficult? Yeah, I mean, the physical side of volume usually disappears. Market conditions change. You get used to the conditions from Q1 of good volatility, fun volatility. Everybody goes on vacation. Markets dry up. Becomes a lot more whippy, a lot more manipulated, and it is what it is. Then you have the flip side mentally of it's summer. You want to go on vacation. You want to hang out with your friends and family, go on vacation with them, go to the pool, spend time outside, not work. It's hot. It's a little lethargic. It's all the things, right? On the mental side. Just a bad combo. Then you also, like for me, a lot of times it's like the Q1 winning side of like, you go crazy off Q1 and then you're like, can this last for forever? The answer is no. So then you get that in the back of your head also of like, nice winning streaks always have to come to an end at some point. Just a lot of things. Okay, here's IBL, maybe. With IBL, I want to see a close 10 points below, rebound into it, get short. So in this case, it would be like close 600 or maybe even 90s. Close 600 or 90s. Strong close. Put my order at IBL. Get short. Not a great close. Not a great close. I would personally prefer a little lower than 3 points. Now, depending on how this next candle closes, I might throw it back up there, but I'm not doing it yet. 3 points isn't enough. Still in sweepy territory. That's a retest of IBL. Trying to push through it a little bit. Ideally, I don't know what I think ideally. I'm like, part of me is like, I would like to see it push through because we didn't get enough of a close below, and that just makes me feel good mentally. Like, I want to see us push it because I'm like, we only closed 3 points. Prove my point for me, market makers. Prove my point that we need to close 10 points below IB in order to not have the shenanigans happen. Prove my point. As of right now, they're doing it. Or they, I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say they already did it. They pushed it 15 points up. Now, up here is where it gets a little bit more interesting, actually, for potentially getting short. It's a little sketchy to do it, not like to get short into IBL potentially, but I kind of like the short here into... It would look a little like this. In the 20s, Delta's having a little bit of a hard time. We've been rejecting the same level. Getting short into IBL. I'm going to move this break even pretty quick as soon as I can. I'm going to go ahead and move it break even, actually. And I got very close to getting filled. I'm just going to go and take it off there. I think I would have gotten the full 10 points, but it looked like it stopped it one tick away. And I'm not messing with that right now. I'm not messing with one tick wonders. Not going to be a dick for a tick. If I see it go within a tick and bounce up a little bit, instant kill, okay? I left $35 on the table. Sue me. Nice slap. Very nice slap. Why not? Why not twice? Beautiful. Love it. I hopefully explained that really well of what I was looking for, and it's nice to see it playing out really well. This is also a nice enough close now through IBL where you can get away with this. I don't know if this actually comes into play. And I don't know if I really even want it to come into play, to be honest. But I'm happy with that. I'm happy with this trade. I'm happy with the kill. I'm happy with the slap. I mean, that was like a 30-point slap that I got right into. So no problems with me. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, boys. I'll be watching IBL. Maybe I'll take something. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I'll update you if I do. But I'm not, like I said at the beginning of the day, I'm really not trying to push hard on these. I'm really not trying to push hard on the accounts right now. I just want to like take good trades. I just want to take good trades. And if there's opportunity, I want to take the opportunity, but I don't want to force it. I want to take good trades. I want to stack days.